The Stranger at the Ranch. The night was quiet at Heartland. The stars were bright, and a cool wind moved through the trees. Amy Fleming was asleep in her room when a loud noise woke her up. Horses were neighing. It wasn't normal. They sounded scared. Amy quickly got out of bed. She grabbed her jacket and flashlight. She ran outside into the cold night. Her heart was beating fast. Something was wrong. As she reached the barn, she stopped suddenly. Spartan, her horse, was standing still. But he was looking at someone. There was a man standing near Spartan. Amy couldn't see his face. He was wearing a dark jacket and jeans. The flashlight flickered, and for a second, the light showed something strange. Spartan was calm. Completely calm. Like he knew the man. Amy stepped forward. "Hey, who are you?" she shouted. The man didn't answer. He turned around and walked into the darkness. Amy ran after him, but he was gone. No footprints. No sound. Just the wind. The next morning, Amy told Jack and Lou what happened. It was dark. "I couldn't see his face," Amy said, drinking her coffee. But Spartan was calm. Like he knew him. Jack looked serious. "Spartan doesn't trust strangers. Never has." Lou frowned. "You think it was a thief?" "No," Amy said softly. "It didn't feel like that." Later that day, Lindy was playing in the barn. She looked up and said, "Mommy, Daddy came home." Amy froze. "What did you say, sweetie?" "I saw Daddy last night. He was with Spartan." Amy felt like the air left her lungs. Her hands began to shake. "That's not possible," she whispered. But Lindy just smiled and kept playing. In the evening, Amy went back to the barn alone. She looked around, hoping for a clue. That's when she saw something on the ground near Spartan's stall. It was an old photo. A photo of her and Ty taken years ago. It hadn't been there yesterday. Amy picked it up. The edges were worn, and the back had one word written on it, "Forever." She stepped back. Her mind was spinning. Was someone playing a cruel joke? Or was something else going on? That night, Amy couldn't sleep. She sat on her bed, holding the photo. Suddenly, she heard the mailbox open and close. She went outside. There was no one there. Just a letter in the box. No name. No return address. Just a note inside, written in Ty's handwriting. "I never meant to leave you." Amy dropped the letter. Her hands were shaking. Her eyes filled with tears. Her heart didn't know what to believe. The next day, she took the note to Jack. He stared at it for a long time. "This is Ty's writing," he said. "No doubt about it." Lou didn't believe it. "Come on, Jack. It's probably someone copying him. A fan, maybe? Or someone sick?" Amy shook her head. The way Spartan looked at that man, the way Lindy spoke, and now this. It's too much to ignore. Jack placed a hand on Amy's shoulder. "Then we find out the truth." Later that day, Amy checked the barn's camera. It only recorded short clips at night. She went through the footage. Most of it was dark and quiet. Then she paused. There it was. 1 second. 1 single second. A man standing in front of the camera. The same dark jacket. The same boots. And just before the screen glitched and went black, Amy saw his face. It was Ty. Even if only for a second, she saw him. Tears ran down her cheeks. She pressed pause, rewind, play, pause, over and over again. It couldn't be. But it was. Ty Borden was back. Proof he's alive. The sun was rising over Heartland, but Amy felt no warmth. She stood in the barn, watching the video clip on her phone again and again. Just 1 second. Just one look. But it was enough. Ty's face, his eyes, real. She didn't sleep at all. Every breath she took was heavy. Every memory came back like a storm. His smile, his voice, the way he used to calm Spartan with just a touch. Amy walked to the kitchen where Jack was sipping his coffee. She placed the phone in front of him. "Watch," she said quietly. Jack looked at the screen. He leaned closer. His hand froze. His eyes widened. Then he looked up at Amy. "It's him." Amy nodded. "I knew it." Later that morning, Lou came over. Amy showed her the video. Lou was quiet for a moment, then shook her head. "No, Amy, this can't be real. It's a trick. A deep fake video, maybe. There are apps for this now." Amy's voice trembled. "You think I faked it?" Lou sighed. "No, but someone else could have. Someone who wants to hurt you." Amy turned away. Spartan didn't panic. Lindy said she saw him. And this, she held up the note. "This is his handwriting. You can feel it in your heart, Lo. Can't you?" Lou didn't answer. Later, Amy took the note to Georgie. She and Georgie had always been close, more like sisters than cousins. Georgie held the note carefully. This is Ty's style. His words. His way of speaking. Then Georgie's face changed. "Way you look at this," she said, pointing to a tiny mark on the corner of the paper. A number. 102 AL. Georgie typed it into her laptop. After a few seconds, a file popped up. "It's a code," she whispered, "linked to a wildlife rescue group in northern Alberta. One T helped years ago." Amy stared at the screen. Her voice was low. "He's trying to send us a message." That night, something strange happened at the clinic. Amy had stayed late to clean up. A new vet had joined the area recently, Dr. Lucas, but Amy had never met him in person. As she was locking up, she saw someone walking away from the building. She called out, "Hey, we're closed." No answer. The person walked faster, then disappeared behind the trees. Amy walked inside. She looked around. Everything was in place except for one thing. A black glove on the counter. She picked it up. Inside the glove was a tag, T.B. Her heart skipped a beat. Back at the ranch, Amy told Jack what happened. Jack looked serious. "This doesn't feel like a trick. It feels like he's here, watching." Amy nodded. "Why won't he just come out and say it?" Jack thought for a moment. Maybe he can't. Maybe he's in danger. Maybe he's trying to protect you again. Amy looked out the window at Lindy, who was brushing Spartan. "He's already protecting us." Like always. Later that week, Amy returned to the clinic. She walked through each room slowly. Everything was clean, but something felt different. She opened the cupboard near Ty's old desk. Inside was a wooden box. She had never seen it before. She opened it slowly. Inside were several things. An old photo of Ty with a wolf pup. A necklace she had given him years ago. And a small journal. Amy opened the first page. The handwriting made her knees weak. It was his. "If you're reading this, I'm sorry. I didn't want to go. But I had to disappear. You and Lindy were in danger. They were watching me. Watching you. So I left to keep you safe." Amy couldn't breathe. He had faked his death. He was never gone by choice. He was running to protect his family. She ran home with the journal in her hand. Jack and Lou were in the kitchen. She placed it on the table and opened it to the first page. No one said a word. The truth was written in front of them. Amy whispered, "He's alive, and he never stopped loving us." Jack wiped his eyes. "We need to find him. Now." Lou looked at the page again. If he's alive, he's still in danger. We need to be careful. Amy nodded. He's close. I can feel it. And I'm not stopping until I find him. The truth breaks through. The wind was louder than usual that morning. Trees swayed. Doors creaked. But it wasn't the wind that woke Amy. It was a memory. She had dreamed of Ty. Not just a dream, a memory wrapped in something new. He was standing in the barn, whispering her name. When she turned to face him, he said one thing, "Check the tree." Amy shot up from bed. Her heart was racing. "What tree?" she asked out loud. Then it hit her, the old oak near the river, the one they carved their names into years ago. She dressed quickly, grabbed her jacket, and ran outside. By the time she reached the tree, the morning fog was still thick. Her fingers moved over the bark where Ty plus Amy was carved long ago. Her eyes scanned the trunk. Then she saw it. A small wooden box nailed behind a loose piece of bark. She pulled it free and opened it. Inside was a folded paper and a necklace she had given Ty on their first wedding anniversary. Amy gasped. The note read, "You're close now, but if you keep looking, you might be in danger too. Be careful, Amy. They're still watching." She held the necklace tightly. "Ty, what happened to you?" Back at the ranch, Amy showed the box to Jack. Jack frowned. "This is the second time he's warned us. He's not hiding because he wants to. He's running from someone or something." Amy nodded. "Then we need help. Someone who knew him before all of this. Someone outside the family." Jack picked up his phone. "There's one man Caleb once said Ty worked with a guy up north during that bear rescue project. I think his name was Sam Kincaid." Later that day, Jack called Sam and asked him to come by the ranch. When Sam arrived, his face was pale. He looked around like he was checking for trouble. Amy showed him the journal and the notes. Sam stayed quiet for a long time. Then he said, "You weren't supposed to find out." Amy's eyes narrowed. "You know something, don't you?" Sam nodded slowly. "Ty worked with us undercover. There were people involved in illegal wildlife trading. Dangerous people. He agreed to help expose them, but things went bad. Real bad. He went missing. We were told not to talk about it. For our safety and yours." Amy's voice trembled. "Why now? Why come back?" Sam shook his head. "Maybe he thinks the danger is over. Or maybe it's just beginning again." Georgie stepped forward. "We found a code, 102 AL. It led us to a place in Alberta." Sam's eyes widened. "That's where we lost contact with Ty. He went to check on a wildlife shelter. He never came back." Amy whispered, "What if he never left? What if he's been hiding there all this time?" Amy and Georgie drove to the Alberta shelter. It was deep in the woods, quiet, almost forgotten. An old man greeted them at the gate. "Looking for someone?" he asked. Amy showed him the necklace. "I'm looking for Ty Borden." The man's eyes softened. "He used to be here. Kind man. Helped us rebuild after the fire." He didn't say much about his past. Amy's heart jumped. "Where is he now?" "He left a few days ago. Said it was time to go home. Left this for someone named Amy." He handed her a letter. Amy opened it with shaking hands. "If you found this, I know you won't stop. But please be safe. They followed me once. I won't let them hurt you or Lindy. I'm coming back, but I can't stay unless I know the threat is gone." A tear fell onto the page. He had been here. So close. That night at Heartland, Amy sat on the porch looking at the stars. The wind was calm now. Jack came and sat beside her. He's trying to come home. Amy nodded. I just hope he makes it before they find him again. Inside the house, Lindy slept peacefully. Outside, in the trees just beyond the barn, someone was watching. A shadow moved behind the fence. The horses didn't panic. Spartan looked up and nodded his head gently. Amy stood and turned around. There, at the edge of the light, Borden stepped forward. Alive. Worn. But home. Reunited, but not safe. It wasn't a dream this time. Amy stood frozen on the porch, staring at the man who had lived only in her memories for years. Borden. Alive. Breathing. Real. But different. His face was tired. His eyes were sharp, scanning the area before they locked onto hers. His clothes were dusty. His beard was longer. His voice, when it came, was just a whisper. Amy. Amy ran to him, her legs trembling. She didn't care about the danger, the questions, the silence of the night. She wrapped her arms around him. Tears fell down her face. Ty held her tight, like he hadn't touched anything real in years. He was home. But something still wasn't right. Inside the house, Jack woke up to the sound of the screen door opening. He grabbed his coat and rushed to the porch, then stopped in shock. Ty stood there holding Amy's hand. Jack's voice broke. I don't believe it. Ty gave a small smile. Believe it, Jack. Jack pulled him into a hug. No words. Just the heavy silence of a broken family starting to mend. Lou came down the stairs. Her eyes widened. She gasped, Ty? Lindy came out of her room, rubbing her eyes. Daddy? Ty dropped to his knees, arms open. Lindy ran to him, and he held her tight. His shoulders shook. He kissed her forehead. I missed you so much, sweetie. But the moment didn't last. Ty stood and looked around the house. His smile faded. We don't have much time. Amy's voice was soft. Time for what? They know I'm back. In the kitchen, Ty explained everything. After helping with the wildlife case, Ty had uncovered something bigger: illegal animal trafficking, even ties to missing people. When he got too close, they came after him. They tried to kill me, Ty said, but someone helped me fake my death. I didn't want to leave you, Amy. I had no choice. Amy sat beside him, holding his hand. Why come back now? Because they found me again. And this time, they followed me to Alberta. Lou asked the question on everyone's mind. Are we in danger now? Ty looked around at the people he loved. Yes, this. The next morning, Ty and Jack checked the barn and fences. Amy watched from the window, her heart heavy. Ty was back, but they couldn't even breathe without fear. Georgie pulled up to the house. She rushed in. I checked the road cameras. 2 black vans drove past the ranch last night. Both had no plates. Amy's stomach dropped. They're watching us, Ty said. They're waiting for me to lead them to the files I took. But I didn't bring them here. Jack stepped forward. Then what do we do? Ty looked toward the mountains. We lead them away. I'll draw them out, away from the ranch. Amy grabbed his arm. You just got back. You're not leaving again. If I stay, Ty said, they'll never stop coming. That night, Ty sat alone in the barn with Spartan. The old horse nuzzled against him, calm and steady, just like before. Amy walked in and sat beside him. I waited for you, she whispered. I know, Ty said. Every day, I wished I could tell you the truth. Amy touched his face. Don't go again. Ty looked into her eyes. I'll come back. I promise. But I have to finish what I started, so no one else loses their family like I almost lost mine. At dawn, Ty kissed Lindy goodbye. He hugged Jack, nodded at Lou, and shook George's hand. Amy stood at the truck, tears in her eyes. Ty wiped one away. "I'll be back, Amy. This time, I'll find a way home for good." Amy placed something in his hand, his necklace. "To remind you who you are," she said. He closed his hand around it. "I love you." Then he drove away. But what he didn't know. In the woods beyond the road, someone was watching with binoculars. A voice on a radio said, "Target has moved. Follow and wait for orders." The fight for home. The old road wound through the hills like a scar, dusty and forgotten. Borden drove alone, the sky heavy with clouds. On the seat beside him, a small flash drive, a worn photo of Amy and Lindy, and his wedding ring. He hadn't worn the ring in years. Now it was back on his finger. He whispered, "Almost home," though he was driving away from it. What Ty didn't know was that 2 black vans were already tailing him from the ridge. Inside, men with dark eyes and silent radios waited for the signal. They didn't just want the files. They wanted to erase Ty Borden for good this time. Back at Heartland, Amy couldn't sit still. She cleaned the barn twice. She made breakfast no one ate. She stared at the horizon as if Ty might walk back over it at any moment. Lindy came into the kitchen. "Is Daddy coming back today?" Amy knelt and hugged her tight. "I hope so, sweetie." "He promised, remember?" Lindy nodded. "He doesn't break promises." Amy smiled, but her eyes were full of fear. Meanwhile, Ty reached an abandoned ranger station deep in the woods. It was the place where everything had started: the first tip, the first raid, the first threat. He stepped inside, placed the flash drive on the table, and opened his laptop. Suddenly, a sound outside. Footsteps. Ty shut the laptop, grabbed the flash drive, and slipped behind a cabinet. The door creaked open. A man stepped in, holding a gun. "Too late, Borden." Ty didn't wait. He jumped from behind, knocking the man to the ground. Another came through the window. Ty kicked the table toward him, then ran for the back door. The forest swallowed him. But the fight wasn't over. Back at Heartland, Georgie tracked Ty's GPS. "He stopped moving," she said, looking at the map. "Near Crooked River." Jack stood up. "We're going." Lou grabbed her keys. "We can't let him fight alone." Amy looked at them. "I'm coming too." "No," Jack said. "If they're watching the ranch, you and Lindy are the targets. You stay here. Keep Heartland safe." Amy wanted to argue, but she knew he was right. She kissed Lindy's forehead and whispered, "Daddy needs us to be strong." Deep in the woods, Ty hid beneath a fallen log. His breath was ragged. His leg was bleeding. But he still had the flash drive. Suddenly, a rustle. Jack appeared with Georgie and Lou, guns in hand. "Thought you could leave us out of the fun?" Jack asked. Ty smiled. "You always find a way." Together, they fought their way out. Lou drove the truck in reverse, while Georgie covered them with smoke grenades from Caleb's rodeo stash. Jack tossed Ty his hat. "Time to go home, cowboy." The next morning, at Heartland was still and peaceful until the sound of tires on gravel. Amy ran to the porch. Ty stepped out of the truck, bloodied but standing. She ran into his arms. "You kept your promise." He nodded. "Always." Inside, Ty handed the flash drive to a local officer who had been helping quietly. "It's all their names, routes, payment trails?" "Enough to bring them down." The officer looked at him. "You're a brave man, Borden." Most people would have stayed gone. Ty looked at Amy and Lindy. "I had something worth coming back to." That evening, the family sat around the fire. No words. Just warmth, peace. Ty took Amy's hand. "What now?" she asked. He smiled. "Now we heal, together." Lindy climbed into his lap and placed a wildflower crown on his head. "You're king of the ranch now?" she giggled. Ty laughed, truly laughed, for the first time in years. Outside, the horses grazed quietly. The threat was over. Ty Borden was finally home. And this time, he was staying. Ty Borden is back.